everyone, and welcome to another episode of Digesting Life. I'm your host, Maya Nicole, and today I wanted to talk about the last semester of college. I think it's really important for me to talk about this right now because it's almost grad season and all of my friends are about to graduate. And I don't know, I just feel like this could be really helpful for anybody who's about to graduate college or even high school because things are definitely different. This is definitely more like geared towards the college scene because a lot of things are different in college than it was in high school. But still, I do think that some of my advice could pertain to like graduating high school. But anyways, I felt it was really important because I wish I would have had this to listen to and like this probably this will probably resonate with a lot of people, but even still it might not for others. There are definitely some things that I'm going to be talking about that people are like, well, that didn't happen for me, you know? And that's completely okay. But I do want to like talk about what happened for me my last semester of college and like how I kind of navigated through it because I really wish like you could look into the future and know how you're going to handle things, but I mean that's totally not the point of life and I understand that. But I just think it would be nice to like get some pointers from yourself because everyone's different. So I guess these are things that I would have told myself, but I also do hope that it will help some of my friends who are graduating and anyone who does graduate in the future that watches this. So, first, I want to talk about some of the things that happened to me my last semester of college. And because I had this whole plan like ready to go, I thought that I knew everything that was going to happen right after graduating. I thought I was set, and everything, like literally almost everything, changed like 2 months before. And I hadn't really come to terms with it until the month before graduating. And it hit me like a truck and it was not fun, and anyone who was around me during the time, like, could definitely tell, like, "Oh, like, there's a lot of changes going on in her life," and that was, like, the big theme of my last semester of college was, like, change is okay, and you need to prepare for it because, like, I really tried to shove it away from my mind, like, the whole like, I don't know, once I figured out all of these changes were happening, I really tried to, like, shove it out of my brain because I just didn't wanna think about it, but, with that being said, a lot of the things that happened, I just wasn't ready for, and so my plan was graduating college was I was going to get a master's degree. So, all throughout college, I had been studying public relations, and then my minor was in human resources. And I felt that, like, since I had been studying public relations for like almost 3.5 years, like, I was like, okay, I want to get a master's in human resources. And that was my plan. Like, I had a professor who was really excited for me to join the program. And I had a few professors in the human resources field who were just super happy to have me and I was like, "Oh my god, like, this is gonna be so much fun, I'm gonna learn so much." And then so many things changed, and that professor doesn't know if he's gonna be there, and it was just this whole thing, and so I decided that I wasn't gonna do it, and also, I graduated a semester early, so then I would have had to wait a whole year before starting grad school, and I really didn't wanna do that because I was like, "What am I graduating early for?" I like, if I'm graduating early from undergrad, I wanna just immediately start in grad school, but that wasn't able to happen because I guess they just can't do that. So then I was like, "Okay, well, then I'm gonna have, like" or it was either, like, a gap year or a gap semester, but still, I was not willing to do that. I was like, "I need to get my life, like, rolling," you know? Like, I wanna make money or I wanna be, like, in school. And so, that couldn't happen anymore. And then with that decision came with, like, I have to become long distance from all of my friends and my boyfriend, and, like, that's been a really difficult, like, post-grad because, like, all of my friends who are still in college, like, I don't see them because 'cause they're away, and then all of my friends who graduated the semester before me, I also don't see them because they have a job or they're in grad school, so they're busy. I also have a job, so I'm busy. So it's like it was just a lot of changes, and then, I moved back home, and I moved back in with my parents, And I love my parents. They are literally my best friends ever. But when they are the only people you're able to hang out with because there's absolutely no one in your area anymore, it just sucks because it's like, you lack a social life almost. And like, obviously, like, I visit my friends here and there. And then, like, I see my boyfriend like every other weekend or every couple of weekends. And, like, that's so much fun, but it's like, I'm such a extroverted person that it's almost, like, not enough, like, I just wanna see everybody, like, as much as I can, but we're all so busy, and that's what happens when you grow up, and that's totally okay. It's just I miss my college life so much because, like, people were right around you, like, 5 minutes in the area, you know? So, it's definitely a lot of changes that I went through, and I was so set on getting a master's degree for like 5 months. So that was like my only plan. And I knew I was going to be around a lot of my friends who were also getting a master's. And like I would just be in the college scene for a little bit longer. So I was really excited about that. And when that plan was like almost solidified, I was like, yes, like I am so excited to stay here. I'm not sure because so I skipped the 4th grade, and then I also graduated a semester early, so I graduated college at 20 years old, and I felt that that was a little too young, like, not too young, but, like, just a little too young for me to, like, hop right on into a career because I was like, "I just wanna have fun," like, I wanna, like, keep learning and just learn as much as I can, and then that all changed, so then I was like, "Oh my god, no, this can't be happening," for, like, a month. And then it was a month before graduating, and I was like, "Oh, no. Like, this is really isn't happening now." And I knew it. I was just trying to, like, push it away out of my mind. And so then that entire month before graduating, I was just, like, applying to jobs, and I was, like, networking and just trying to figure something out, because I was like, "Man, like, I need to get this show on the road." Like, if I'm graduating and I can't go to grad school anymore, I need to figure out something because I'm not the type of person to just sit at home and do nothing, like, I have to be doing something. I need my mind to be distracted because, like, I don't like, even when I'm off on the weekends, I need to fill up my time because I don't wanna just sit here. So, yeah, I was applying to jobs. I had, like, a whole spreadsheet, and this is something I would definitely recommend if you aren't doing this already. Make a spreadsheet of every place you're applying to, what the position is, what your title will be, what the pay is, what the location is, if it's remote or in person or hybrid, like all of these details you need to be keeping in a tracker of some sort. And also, like, if they're interviewing, how many interviews there are, like, if they accepted you, like, all this stuff. You need to keep tracking it because I didn't track it, like, for the first few places I was applying to, and then when they would email me back, I'd be like, "Man, who is this?" And I know that's so bad, but it's like, I wasn't ready yet, and I was, like, still trying to navigate the best ways for, like, applying for jobs and everything. Um, but also on the topic of applying for jobs, I would definitely recommend, like, however much you networked during college, like, it's so important, and I know they always, like, try to shove that down your throat, and for a while there, I was like, "Really? Like, do I really need to?" But it's so important because, like, the networking that I did and, like, I was in a student-run PR firm, at college, and the way that I found the job that I'm in now is because a fellow, they call us Bluestonians because it's called the Bluestone firm. So, she was in Bluestone a year before I was, and then she told someone in our firm that there was an opening at her company, and I jumped right on it. I was like, "I want that job, like, that looks like everything I wanna do." And so I networked with her, and, like, her and I work together now, and she's so great. So it's like, you make friends along the way, you network along the way, and it really does help you. Because I probably would not have ever found that job, like the job that I'm in, had she not ever said anything, had I not reached out to my friend to reach out to her. And it's like, it's like a whole chain of people that, like, I went through to get there, but it's like, it's definitely so important to network. And, back on the spreadsheet, I would definitely say, like, keeping track. helped me so much because I kept forgetting. So, yeah, that's definitely a piece of advice I would give if you're not already doing that. So, anyways, back on the last semester of college, I was so stressed out that last semester, which is so crazy because I only took 4 classes and, one of them was, like, extremely easy, so it was basically like I was taking 3, but the 3 that I were taking was a little difficult, and one of them was also that student-run PR firm, and so it's like there's a lot of learning that I had to do, and then on top of applying to jobs, not going to grad school, like, not having this life set up that I had planned for so long, um I just started getting really stressed, and when I'm stressed, like, my body kinda shuts down, it doesn't really wanna do much. So, throughout my last semester, I was not partying like I said I would. Like, I remember the semester before that, I was like, "I'm gonna have fun, like, I'm gonna party like I haven't ever before," and, like, I just wanted to have so much fun and do a bunch of things that I had never done throughout college, and I can admit I didn't do, like, half of those things. And it's because I just didn't have the energy. I was so stressed all the time. And I'm sure a lot of people are feeling this if they're about to graduate. It's like there's just so much on your plate that, like, yes, you want to party and you'll make time for it occasionally, but it's definitely not as much as you thought it would be. And like everyone always says, like, go out with a bang, like, do things that you haven't done the entire time you've been there because you won't be there probably ever again unless you get a master's. And then when you go back and visit, you'll probably be visiting because, like, you wanna reminisce and then you're older or you'll, like, have a kid who goes there, so it's like it's just not the same, and when you're in that college bubble, like, it just feels like you're in college surrounded by all these like-minded people, and then when you're not in that anymore like, right now, I'm not going back to college, so it's like, man, like, I just feel so different, and it's, like, hard to explain. But I just kind of feel like my life has slowed down just a little bit because it's the same routine over and over again with work and then everything else that I'm doing. Um, but I will say, like, with all the added stress that I went through the last semester, like, that increased my stomach problems. And like I've mentioned in my past episodes, like, the stress really just adds on to the stomach aches. So then the stomach aches would keep me in the house. And I know a lot of people don't go through that, but that was a big reason, like, all of my friends would be like, "Let's go out," and I'm like, "My stomach hurts so bad." But, sometimes saying that, it gets old and you feel like people won't believe you, but, like so I just stopped saying it, and I was like, "I'm sorry, I can't make it." But, like, half of the time, it was because I just was so down bad, I, like, couldn't make it out of the house. But other times, I was just so exhausted from all the work that I had to do and just, like, exhausted in general because I just kept thinking like, "Oh my god, like, I'm not going to grad school anymore, and now I have to get a job." So it's like it was just a lot of mentally exhausting days, but I pushed through and I hung out with my friends and my boyfriend who was there, and it's like I was able to, like, confide in them, so that was really nice. But another thing I wanted to talk about was the breaks that you get during college. I really wish that I did not graduate early because I totally forgot that this semester would have been spring break and, like, my last ever spring break and my last ever summer break too, and I probably would have worked through both, but it's just, like, the breaks, like, they're not there anymore when you graduate, and, like, right now tomorrow's April, so it's like and all of March, like, everybody was, like, so ready for spring break, and then I watched all these people go have fun and all my friends go have fun on their trips, and I was like, "Ugh," like, I just miss it so much. It's, like, such bad FOMO because 'cause I'm, like, working every day now. But like, with that said, like, when you graduate, there are no more breaks. There's no winter break. There's no, like, long Thanksgiving break. There's no summer or spring break. So, enjoy it while you can. Like, my biggest piece of advice is just to enjoy everything. Talk to more people, meet more people if you can, like, just one more time, because when you get out of college, like, there's no more breaks, and the people around you are just working people, like, typically. Like, it's so hard to meet people outside of college because not everyone around you is, like-minded anymore, and not in that same little college bubble that you're in. So, I would say if there's someone you've been wanting to meet, if there's someone you think is cute, like, talk to them, like, join clubs last minute if you can, if that's even possible, and, like, I know at my college, like, the apartment complexes would have, like, fun little, like, bingo nights or, like, they had painting nights, they had dinner nights, like, do that as much as you can because that was so much fun. I did that a lot in my last semester and my second to last semester, and that was so much fun. Um, so I would definitely recommend, like, just going out there, doing a lot of things that you wouldn't typically do because these things are not offered when you move back in with your parents or when you move back, to your hometown and into an apartment, like, maybe you live by yourself after you graduate or I don't know, like, whatever your circumstances may be, it's definitely not gonna be the same. And I will say in college, everyone is always almost always down to do something. When you graduate, it kinda slows down just a little bit because people are always working. So, yeah, the biggest piece of advice that I would almost give on your last semester of college is just take your time with things and get out there more, and also change is okay, it doesn't have to be a bad thing. I was freaking out for far too long about all the changes that I was going through, and I feel like that almost wasted a lot of my time. So and I'm happy that I can look back now and say, like, like, realize that I wasted time worrying about all these changes, but it's only human, and, you know, you go through things differently than every other person does, so it's so important to just keep in mind that, like, if your plan didn't work out and maybe you have to get a job sooner than you thought, or maybe, I don't know, like maybe something happened with your internship that isn't happening anymore, but it's just so important to remember that like rejection is redirection and, change is inevitable. So, whatever you can do to like combat that and like cope, definitely do. And if that's confiding in friends or if that's like partying and blacking out, like do whatever you have to do. But just I would say just have as much fun as you can and stop worrying about everything so much because I spent a lot of time worrying. I also wanted to kind of dive into the post-grad life just a little bit on this episode because obviously that's where I'm at now and I'm entering my 4th month post-grad and obviously I am no pro, but I will say things have been so different and I know I've mentioned already in this episode that things have slowed down. And I don't mean that in a negative way at all. I just mean in the way that you work 40 hours a week and then you have the weekends off and I work a 9 to 6 because we get an hour-long break. So I try to be in bed by like 9:30, 10. So that's realistically like a good 3 to 4 hours to myself at night. And sometimes I get really tired like after work, so I just won't have energy. But I've tried to do things that I enjoy more, like starting this podcast, like this was such a this was a big idea that I've had for a while, but we did it on a whim, like really quickly because I was like, "You know what? I want to do it now. And if I don't do it now, I'm never going to do it because I've been wanting to do this for like ever since quarantine." So, we did it really quickly. We whipped it all together and announced it really quickly so that I would actually do it because then it would keep me accountable because I have some people who actually kind of want to watch it. So, I'm doing it for them and I'm doing it for myself because it's something to look forward to outside of work. And also, I go to the gym after work whenever I feel okay, whenever my body's not super tired. And I've been starting to see a trainer, and that's been really good because then that keeps me way more accountable. I have friends in the gym, and I did talk about this in my last episode, but having friends in the gym or anywhere you go, like any of your activities outside of work, keeps you accountable. And it definitely helps you like stay motivated to just not sit and, like, kinda rot in bed all night after work. Because I will say, like, after work, like, there are so many times where I just wanna, like, lay in bed for the rest of the night and then go to sleep, but there's no good in doing that most nights because then I'm just, like I just feel like I'm wasting away time, and, like, I'm so young, I just wanna, like, be able to do as much as I can. So, like, going to the gym, although that can be, like, just a lot sometimes, and I may not feel like it most of the time, I really try to push myself, and my mom goes with me most times, my friends go with me, and I have friends who work at the gym, so that keeps me accountable and makes me wanna go and see them and hang out with them. So, I would definitely say get some new hobbies, maybe pick up hobbies that you used to do. Um, I used to read, and then I stopped for a very long time because I just didn't have the time, and now I'm finding that I don't have a lot of time to do it, but I try to do it whenever I can, and it's just nice to hop into a different reality and read a book because, like, then you can just imagine things that are happening in the book and not really worry about work or not worry about life. And also another thing I wanted to say is if you leave graduation without a job, it's totally okay. I would not freak out about it. And a big piece of advice I also have for my upcoming graduates is that a lot of places are not looking to hire until you're like right upon graduation. I applied to so many places, I think like 50 places in my last month of graduate or before graduating. I did not hear back until most of them until, like, my graduation week or after, and I was like, "Y'all, come on," like and I was kinda pissed because I was like, "It's almost Christmas, almost the New Year," and, like, I just wanted to have a job so bad, I was so impatient, but it's okay. Like, take your time, really make sure that this company is for you, and, don't settle, like, don't settle for something you don't wanna do, like, just keep looking and you'll find something, um, and also, like, definitely, if you can, if you're able to financially and everything else, take a break after graduating. I took a month break and I needed it so much. I used that break to kind of just chill, get back into the gym. Because I had mentioned I had that injury last year, and then I had to do PT for a few months and couldn't work out like as seriously as I had before. But then in January, I was like, "Okay, I'm finally gonna work out. I'm gonna get back into that routine," and I finally did. And then I also used that time to get to know my stomach a bit more and figure out things that wouldn't hurt my stomach while I'm like to prepare myself for when I'm away at work. And it really helped, like, take a month-long break off, take 2 months, take 6 months, like, whatever you're able to do, just take a break. But don't get too used to it because then you won't wanna get out of that routine. Um, but I will say when you are taking that break, make sure that you're still getting hobbies. Like, during my break, I read, like, so many books. I think I read, like, 8 books in 1 month, which may not be a lot to some people, but it was a lot for me considering I hadn't done it in so long. Um, so I will say, like, it's just so nice to get hobbies when you are taking a break and just chilling because it's it's like I remember, like, my old self, like, I was, like, thinking back, like, "Oh my god, I used to do all this stuff, and now I have the time." So definitely take the time to do that if you can because it'll just help you so much, and it'll give you time to prepare for your new job and everything like that. Okay, so the last thing I wanted to talk was about jobs. So, when I started my new job, I was terrified. And it's because, like I'm the only like person who just graduated college. They only hired one person out of college and it was me. And I was so scared. I was like, "Oh my god, all of these people are in a routine. They all have been graduated for who knows how long." And I was just scared cuz I didn't want to seem dumb. But it's like everybody has a different college experience. Some people get more knowledge than others in college, and I got so much knowledge, but it's like I look at myself and other people that I work with and, like, even people that I've graduated with, and it's like, we all know such different things, like, there are things that I know that they don't, there are things that they know that I don't, and it's like, there's no reason we can't all learn off of each other, and I think that's a great thing because it's so important to be able to bounce ideas off of each other, especially in your work environment, and I definitely think I'm super lucky with that at my job because, like, we all are always bouncing different ideas off of each other, and I was just really scared that I wouldn't be able to because I didn't know these people and I didn't know this job, and my first, like, month, maybe month and a half, I was just so scared every time I clocked in. I was like, "Oh my god, I don't know what I'm doing. Hmm." And they kept telling me, like, "By the way, don't worry, like, it takes like, statistically, it takes 6 months to, like, almost get really good at a job, and, like, to for everything to click." And, especially in the job that I work in, like, it's a tech PR firm, so we have to learn a lot of tech stuff and tech terminology and everything about these tech companies that we work for, and it's like, I do not know anything about technology. Now I do. But when I got hired, like, they were like, "By the way," like, in the interview process, they were like, "By the way, you don't need any tech experience. Like, we're just looking for you to have the PR degree." And I was like, "Well, that's perfect because I don't know anything about technology really." Like, I know the basics, as does everyone else, but it's like, I'm not perfect, and I didn't study that. And I just had to keep remembering I don't know everything the second I walk into things. Like, I expected myself the first week to hop into things super quickly and to know everything, and I do think that's because in past jobs that I've had, like, throughout college, like, you are expected to know things right away. But when it comes to your job that you get out of college, like, you're not gonna be expected to be perfect at your job for a while. They still like, they know that I'm learning still, and they still don't expect me to know everything. I am learning new things every single day, and I think it's amazing, like, but at first, it really overwhelmed me because I do like to know things right away. I really want to be of help as much as I can, and when I felt like I couldn't help because I didn't know things or I wasn't trained on something, I just kind of felt useless, and then I would freak out, and then I would spiral. So, take your time. Do not be hard on yourself when you first start your new job because 8 times out of 10, like, you're not gonna know what's going on in your first, like, month or 2, and then you're gonna be sitting there, like, so being so hard on yourself because you're like, "Why don't I understand this?" You know? And, like, after the first time learning, like, I just wanna know everything, like, right away, and after the first time, I tend to get things really well, but, like, you need that first time, you need someone to show you, you need someone to train you, and now, like, I'm just so happy, like, I feel so much more confident and everyone can tell, and, like, it's been so great, and I can tell, like, I'm learning so much because, like, I can talk to my family or my friends and be like, "Look at what I learned, like, look at what I'm doing," and they'll be so proud of me, and my coworkers are proud of me, and it's just nice because like, after being so hard on myself for a while, I'm finally, like, super confident in my work and just, like, happy with what I'm doing, and that's what I wanted to warn everybody about is, like, when you start your new job, you're not going to be perfect at it unless you're, like, actually, like, insane. But, like, you will be totally okay. The last thing I wanted to talk about is, like, for real, the last thing is, like, everything will definitely be okay. Things happen when they need to, and remember, like, rejection equals redirection, like, do not take rejection as anything too extreme, too hard, because maybe it just wasn't meant for you, maybe that's not your path, but definitely take your time, take a month off after graduating if you need to, and for all my, friends that are about to graduate or anyone who's about to graduate, I really hope graduation goes so well. Take the time to soak your graduation day up because I remember I was sitting there my graduation day and the whole morning I was freaking out. I had a really early graduation. I think I was up at like 5:40 something, maybe 6 a.m. with my friend, because she came and, saw my graduation, and we woke up and we were like, "Oh my god, this is so rough." And, then I was so worried about my stomach hurting, but then I was like, "You know what? This is my day. Like, I am not letting my stomach or anything else or anyone ruin it. Like, this is going to be all about me." And your graduation day is all about you. Soak it all up. Do not let anything ruin it. And that was the one day that I did not let my stomach issues ruin anything for me. I sat there with a big smile on my face the entire time. And I was, like, terrified because, like, what if you trip on stage, you know? But I had so much fun. That was, like, one of the best days of my life, and my family and my boyfriend and my one of my best friends was there. So, it was just really nice, and I really hope you guys have a wonderful graduation. Um, if you've already graduated, I hope, like, you kind of remember some of the stuff that I talked about. Um, Obviously, I didn't have the same path that a lot of people had, but I hope that this resonates with somebody because, like, I don't know, I think it could help. So, yeah. So that is everything I wanted to talk about. Thank you guys so much for tuning into this episode of Digesting Life, and I will see you guys on the next episode. Bye.